I had a request to do a video on the SQL Query Store, so let's get at it. So SQL Query Store is a feature that was introduced in SQL Server 2016, so it's relatively new. It's really kind of like a flight recorder for your query performance for your database. So it allows you to capture query text, execution plans, runtime assistance, and really what's key is persistent data across restarts, because what normally happens is things like the plan cache and query cache, everything like that gets cleared out whenever you restart. So you lose all that valuable information. And Query Store is a way for us to record it and keep it persistent over restarts and do analysis across them. So why would you use it? Well, to detect query plan regressions. You want to compare performance before and after you make changes. You want to identify your top resource consuming queries, stabilize performance by forcing specific plans. And so Query Store isn't really something that I've done a lot with. I've typically used tools to do the same sorts of things, like the SolarWinds DPA tool that I've done a video on. I've also been using Datadog with some of my clients. But Query Store looks like it's a really nice option, maybe if you don't have the budget to bring in additional tools, because it's included right with your license of SQL Server. Some real-world use cases. So after a deployment, you can compare before and after of the particular query and do analysis and see if you made the improvement you were intending to. And you want to use it over time to identify like plan regression. So you might have something that's working fine now, but due to like data changes or increased data volume, or maybe some sort of change in your resource utilization on your server, things can regress. And so it's a good way to keep an eye on those things. And you can also force particular plans that are more efficient than others. So how do you enable it? It's something that's enabled at the database level. So you would enable it on a particular database, and you could just use either this TSQL command, which is what I used, and you just say set Query Store on, and then you give it this operation mode. Or you can actually do it in SSMS by right-click on your database, go to your properties, navigate to Query Store, and then enable. So I did enable it on one of my dev databases, and so when you go into your SSMS, what you do is you'll see a new folder option for Query Store. You expand that, and these are the various SSMS reports that are available right out of the box. So here's a few of them that I've got here. I'm looking at overall resources here. One thing I really like to keep track of over time is logical reads. That really tells you what kind of work that your server's doing over time. And as this bounces around, you can kind of attribute that to changes in performance. I've also got some top resource consuming queries that are being displayed here, and you can drill into each of them and you give you the actual plan and do analysis from that perspective. And then down here, I've got an example of regressed queries. And so it's even got a suggested index here. So you would see this when you do a query plan on inside SSMS. Well, this will have it right inside of your query store, so that you can do analysis right within the tool. Some quick usage tips. Again, you could use the SSMS reports we just looked at. Something else you want to keep an eye on are the resources that are being used, mainly like disk space. So what you can do is you can set like a max storage and a cleanup policy, and this will keep things from getting too out of hand in terms of too much retention. Because we said, hey, we're going to restore things, we're going to retain information across the restarts. Well, you don't want to keep too much in there. You're going to blow up your database. So keep an eye on what these settings are, set them accordingly, according to how much disk space that you have available. You can use the sys query store star and DMV views for custom analysis, and then you regularly want to review and force plans as needed. So this is a great tool that you can use if you don't have some sort of in-house tool that you've purchased, like DPA or Datadog, or there's a lot of other tools out there. This is free, out of the box, something that you can use in any of your SQL Server installations. So that's it. I hope you learned something. I know I did, something that I haven't worked with too much. I appreciate the question, and I hope I was able to answer. If you guys enjoyed, please like, follow, subscribe, and share with friends. Talk to you later. Bye.